with Taekwondo Tuesday, and I'm going to do a pretty relaxed Taekwondo stream, and I'm going to work on the color belt patterns, the kumse, taeguk jang to taeguk jang, and oops, I'm really right next to the mic. Maybe a little too loud when I'm right next to the mic. So I'm just pulling some of this up on here so we can see this. Keep an eye in chat. And thanks for the gravels, Nate. Gravels. I love gravels. Alright, Taekwondo Tuesday. Let's start with our standard Taekwondo warm up. I think everyone can see me. Everyone can see me. And stand about here. Everyone can see me. Okay, neck. From side to side. I'm going to do, sometimes I end up doing 10. I don't know why. Let's just do 5 count in Korean. So, hana, to, set, net, dasa. And semicircle neck rotations. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And semicircle backwards. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And shoulder rotations, 5 forward, 5 back. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And backwards. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. Yes, Nate? Oh. Sounded like you snorted again for some reason.
Hiccup.
That's a weird hiccup.
Carry on.
Sorry, my brain is a little distracted. There's actually too much going on right now. But never mind. Okay, arms out, and we're gonna do windmills. Hana, to, set, net, dasa, and backwards. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And arms out again. We're going to do count of 4 is 1 set. Hana, to, set, net. That's 1 set, okay? And we're going to do 5 sets. Hana, to, set, net. Hana. Hana, to, set, net, to. Hana, to, set, net, set. Hana, to, set, net, net. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. And arms like this. And we're going to do a trunk twist. So we're twisting side to side again. 4 count is 1 set. So we're going to go hana, to, set, net. And try to like get the upper body twist and try to keep your waist area about as centered as possible. I mean, it obviously moves when you try to twist, but I'm going to try and get that little twist, and it helps warm up the muscles in your sides. So hana, to, set, net. Hana, to, set, net. Hana, to, set, net, set. Hana, to, set, net, net. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. And now, waist rotations. 5 counterclockwise, 5 clockwise. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And the other way. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And hip rotations, the same thing. 5 counterclockwise, 5 clockwise. Go. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And the other way. Hana, to, set, net, and dasa. And put your feet together, knees together. We're going to do knee bends. Again, 4 counts, 1 set. We're going to do 5 sets. So bend twice and then push back twice. Hana, to, set, net. Like that. And hana, to, set, net. Hana. Hana, to, set, net, to. Hana, to, set, net, set. Hana, to, set, net, net. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. and knee rotations, sorry. Keeping your feet and legs together, feet and knees together, knee rotations. 5 counterclockwise, 5 clockwise. Hana, to, set, net, dasa, and clockwise. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. And ankle rotations. I have my left foot out. Ankle rotations outward and then inwards. And counting to 5. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. And another way. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. Switch feet outwards. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. Hana, to, set, net, dasa. And hands. Just up your hands to shake them out a bit. Shake out your fingers as well. You can do these. If your ankles are still a little stiff, you can just do this. Keep your foot relaxed. Just grab your leg and shake it. And same with the other foot. Relax your foot and shake it. Okay. So now we're warmed up. I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna run through all. It's taeguk, jang, and hopefully get to jang today. And I'm going to just quickly, what I'm going to do is, because I don't have enough space to do all the techniques properly, I'm going to be focused on remembering the schematics of the pattern and the way we're supposed to move. So, taeguk. And for some of the techniques, I will pull them out of the pattern and just show them, because I can show them on a straight line at least. But with the full pattern or sequence, you really need probably like a 3x3 meter square space, which is kind of hard to come by in a small apartment. All right, so from Shuyet to Junbi, okay, I'm going to do taeguk jang. Taeguk jang means taeguk number 1. Jang just means number 1. Il means is 1 in Korean. It's Korean has 2 ways of counting. 2 ways of counting numbers. Il means 1, and then the pattern is taeguk jang, so taeguk number 1. So I'm just going to run through it, and people can follow if they want. If you already know patterns, it's easy enough for you to follow. Yeah. And I guess it's hard because I'm actually doing it like I'm facing you, and if you're watching me, it's going to look like I'm going wrong. Yeah. When you're watching patterns, it always looks like the person's going the wrong way. But I'm not. So, hana, to, set, net, dasa, yosa, yo, to, kick, punch, blow block, and punch. And that's actually, there should be a kia at the end, which means young in Korean, so and I'm not going to do that because I'm in an apartment. And here, and go back to Junbi. Alright, so that was taeguk jang. Pretty simple pattern, I think. Basic number 1 is more simple. But let me just quickly go over what techniques are in this pattern. We start off with the walking stance, low block. So you need walking stance, you need low block. You step forward, walking stance, you need a punch. Right, the other way, same thing, just on the other side of the mirror. Then we need our long stance, low block. So you need that, right? Followed by a punch. Pretty easy. Next, we got our walking stance, middle block. Yeah, I think I've taught this in a couple of streams already. Walking stance, low block. Right, Nate? Wait, hold on. I'm trying to remember without getting messed up now. Okay. Right. Let's go over that again. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, support punch. Punch, another one. And now we got our high block. So we got walking stance, high block, and then we have front snap kick with a punch. So what do we have now? I think that's all of it. block, kick, punch, low block, and support punch. Alright, so we've got walking stance. We've got pretty much just walking stance and long stance. We've got low block, we've got low block, we've got middle blocks, we've got high blocks, right? So you got 2 stances, you got 3 blocks, 3 different types of blocks, and we've got punches. We got a basic punch, basic reverse punch, and we also have a front snap kick, right? Followed by punch. So those are, what is that? 2 stances, 3 blocks. That's 5 plus a punch and plus a kick. Total of 7 different techniques in this pattern. So you need to know those 7 techniques, 7 different Taekwondo techniques, put them together in this pattern. It's a sequence of movements basically, and that's taeguk jang. Next pattern, taeguk jang. Trying to remember if we add a new technique or not in this. I made a list of this some years ago. I have to go and pull up the list, but I'm sure I can figure this out. I think this one, there's no new technique in this.
Middle blocks.
Huh? No, it's middle blocks and iljang. Taeguk jang, I don't think there's a new technique. It's just the pattern is different.
Double punch.
Huh?
Double punch.
It's a double punch. Nate's got a first dan black belt and he thinks there's a double punch in this pattern. Jang, orange belt pattern.
Yeah, isn't it low block, front snap kick, long stance, double punch?
No.
Yeah. I thought it was.
No, not quite yet. I think this has basically the same techniques as taeguk jang, but let me go over it. I'll just go over it and show it to everyone first. Let me do 1, step forward punch. Middle block, middle block, low block. Well, you can do a high front snap kick here, but it's basically your front snap kick, but you can do a high one. Punch. Right. Okay, I'm going to do this over again because every time I talk I lose track of what I'm doing, which is actually bad. And the reason why I like doing Taekwondo patterns and why it's I find it really good for your mental health is that it helps you focus and helps you develop discipline with focusing on what you're doing. And obviously because I'm also talking on stream, it's hard to focus on the pattern at the same time, but it's the kind of multitasking that you kind of have to get used to with doing Taekwondo patterns and trying to teach them. And I'm a little out of practice in that right now, so let's just do this one again. So from the beginning, I lost myself in it. Yes, middle block, low block, high front snap kick, step down, long stance, punch, and low block, high front snap kick, step down, long stance, punch. Right. Yeah. And now, middle block. Wait, did I do middle block already? I feel like I did it already. Why am I losing track today? Tired. So distracted. I have there's a bunch of other things going on in real life too that makes it a little distracting. I should know these better. Yeah, I already did middle block, low block, high front snap kick, punch, low block, high front snap kick, punch. Yeah, from here, now high block, yeah. And then step forward again, high block. And now here we're going to turn to 70 and do a middle block. And then just turn your back leg foot like this and do another middle block. And then we turn this way, going back, walking sensual block. Right, Nate? Kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kip. No new techniques in taeguk jang. All pretty much the same 7 techniques like in iljang, but in ijang they're put together slightly different in a different sequence to create a different pattern. So you need walking stance, long stance. You need a low block, middle block. You need a high block. You also need punch, basic reverse punch, and you also need a front snap kick, which you can do when you're going this way. You can do a high front snap kick, like the high one, if you want, and going back to the beginning, you can do middle. When you go back to the beginning, you can do just the basic middle front snap kick. Okay, so no new techniques in taeguk, jang. Jang and jang have the same 7 Taekwondo techniques. Okay, now taeguk samjang. Samjang. This is what Nate was just talking about with me. You skipped a pattern, was all. Alright, taeguk samjang. We'll be throwing in at least 2 new techniques. At least 2 new techniques. Kick, doing a double punch, fine. Double punch is a new technique, but really. Anyways, so let's go to Chiyet and Junbi. Alright, so taeguk samjang. Taeguk number 3. Right. Hana. 2. 6. Next. And now middle block. Sorry. Knife hand strike. Right. And then knife hand strike. So that's a new strike for you here. And then back stance with a knife hand block. So yes, we're adding a new stance. This is the 3rd stance you should know is a back stance, and this is another block. It's basically like a middle block, like this middle block, but it's an open hand block. It's the knife hand block. Right, and then punch. So for that, you just switch from your back stance to that. You're just gonna switch. Just shift this foot out like this, so you can shift into a long stance and just do your punch. Now from here, back stance and shift, punch. Right, middle block. Turn all the way around, low block. Then we're gonna do high front snap kick, double punch. Right. And go back there. Low block. High front snap kick, double punch. Did I miss something in the end? I don't think so. Now, low block, punch. Step forward, low block, punch. Next, kick, low block, punch. Kick, low block, punch. And Junbi. No, I didn't miss anything. I'm gonna do that one more time. So the couple of new patterns and this new techniques in this one, we're adding the back stance. We're adding this back stance like this, and a knife hand block, single knife hand block, and we added knife hand strike. So we added 3 more techniques to taeguk. Added 3 new techniques to help create taeguk samjang. So that means there's 10 techniques you need to know. Because all the other ones were pretty much there still, right? Okay, I'm going to do that one more time, just for my brain. High block, one sense with a punch, and low block, high punch, blocks, and then low block, punch, step forward, low block, punch. Those are pretty easy to do. Punch, kick, low block, kick up, and back to Junbi. And that's taeguk samjang. Next one, taeguk sajang. Yeah, I can get myself a little bit of water. let me think. 1, 2, 3. Taeguk Sajang. Samjang. Taeguk Sajang. Should be fairly easy techniques if you've been practicing Il and E. And then you have to practice your going into a back stance knife hand thing. And then just practice going forward. You just want to practice going forward with your knife hand strikes. And notice it's opposite arm, opposite leg. And that one. And then the last little bit towards the end, and I just realized most of the time people can't see when I have to go back to the beginning. So when I go back to the beginning, what you're going to do is you're going to do low block, punch. Step forward, low block, punch. Then you do a front snap kick, low block, punch. And put your foot down at the same time as you execute the low block. And then snap kick, low block, punch. And a key up. The ending for taeguk jang is pretty easy. You end up just stepping and doing a low block and then stepping forward with another low block in your long stances. That's the end of taeguk jang. I think it's hard for people to see. Taeguk jang, the ending is low block, then kick, punch, and kick, punch, key up. Right. So, okay, so, il, sam, sa, next is sa. There's a couple new techniques in Sajang. I'm just going to go through it first. And then we'll recap what new techniques there are in this. Off the bat, I know right at the beginning, there's a brand new technique. So, Chia, Jimmy. Kick. What is it? Sorry. Kick, punch. Side kick. Side kick. Wait. What did I do earlier? Yeah. Was it long stance? Why am I stuck? My poor brain. Yeah, it is a long stance back fist. And key up. Alright, so the first little part of Taeguk Sajang, this is where we get really interesting with our open hand techniques. So, going over that again. Let's see which ones we added. So, from here, back stance, double knife hand block. Okay? And then, what we're going to do is a spear finger strike. So, from here to do a spear finger strike, you're going to do this. It's like kind of like a parrying like a punch or something out of the way. Alright, and you step forward into a long stance, spear finger. And then you can't see that, so I'm going to go back here. So maybe you can see it better from here. Right? So I'm in a back, right off the bat, we're in a back stance. We do double knife hand block. Then we do this, do a little parry, and step forward in long stance and do that. Spear finger. And probably want it at the solar plexus there. And then from there, I'm going to go forward a little bit so I have room to go back the other way. From there, I'm going to step into a back stance, double knife hand block again. Remember, when you go left and right in Taekwondo patterns, they're just mirrors. You're mirroring the technique. And then knife hand strike. That's off the bat. So a couple new techniques there. We've got, we already know the back stance, but now you're going to do a double knife hand block. Pretty simple. If you're like in Jinbi, just move your left foot out And then as you move your left foot out, pull your arms back like this, so that the back hand, the one furthest away from you, is palm down, this one's palm up, because it's going to switch when you do your strike. Step into a back stance, back stance at the same time as you go there. That's your double knife hand block. Do it from here actually. I'm in Junbi. Right. Now step forward. So from here, you want to step forward. Knife hand, spear finger strike. Right. And then to go the other way. Wait. Go the other way. You need room to see. You can't see. To go the other way, you're going to end up, so from here, to go the other way, you just go and switch. And I think I reversed them around somehow. Anyway, so those are your couple of new techniques, spear finger and double knife hand block there. After that, let's see. Sorry. What did I just do? Sorry. Knife hand block. Spear finger. Next technique, kind of new here. So you're going to go, so from here, what you're going to end up doing is, because you're like this, you're right here like this, you're going to step into a long stance, and you pull these arms back here. This is going to high block, right? And this is actually going to do knife hand strike, like this. That's your technique here. And that's a little bit complicated. Where did I earn my black belts? In a couple of schools in Toronto, Canada. I also trained WT style Taekwondo. Okay, so from that technique, so I'm going to step, long stance, do that. Right, that's in the pattern. That's your new technique where you're doing an open high block with a knife hand strike. The next part of the pattern, trying to remember here. Yeah, and snap kick. Front snap kick, just step down normally with a punch. Now this part we're going to follow up with two side kicks, one after the other. Go side kick, and when you step down into a back stance, double knife hand block again. That part probably requires a bit of work. If you don't have good balance when you're doing a side kicks, it's probably hard to do. And right now I'm keeping my side kicks fairly low because my balance is a little bit bad, not as good as it should be. And welcome to my stream. How are you today? How many stripes? I actually have stars. We used to have stripes. The school I was at decided they wanted to put stars. So I believe Nate put up the bio there. The number of stripes is the equivalent to my Dan number. So there should be 4 stars on my belt right now. I don't know if you can count them while I'm on stream. Alright, so let's do that side kick again, followed by the knife hand strike. So we are at, there's a kick punch from here, right? You have to do a side kick, so you have to do your side kick and try to do proper side kicks. Step down at the same time as you do your block. So again, you want to be chambered and then step down into your back stance while you do your knife hand block. So when you're chambered, probably do this and down, and that's what you want to do for your for that part of the technique. Have you taught in Illinois? No, I've never taught in Illinois. Why, do I look like I'm from Illinois? No, I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and that's where the majority of my training is from. A couple of good schools in Toronto, actually. Both of them were official WT Taekwondo and World Taekwondo official schools. I guess what I would say officially sanctioned by Kuki-won in South Korea. Both are official Taekwondo masters as well. They're running the school. And over the years, I was also taught by a variety of other Korean masters, South Korean Taekwondo masters, because they come over and I guess they just get some kind of internship, and they come over and teach Taekwondo at the schools for a little while, and then maybe open up their own schools or something. So, no, I've never been in Illinois actually. All right, so after that, so we did that one. Let's just do this one. Wait. Where's this way? We'll do that one again. Two side kicks, double knife hand strike. Now from there, everyone's going to find this maybe a little hard to see. I'll go back a bit just so you can see the footwork. From there, you're going to want to go that way. So I'm going to turn, and we are going to do the next middle block technique, which is an inside to outside middle block with the palm out. So from here, so then you're going to move and cross your hands at the same time, move, cross your hands at the same time, step into a back stance as you do your block again, like that. That's your block. That is actually a new technique too in this pattern, isn't it, Nate? Mm-hmm. And then from here, we're in our back stance. You're going to do front snap kick, step back into your back stance, and do a middle block with this arm. Not a new technique necessarily, just doing it with the different arm in a different stance. So you're in a back stance, you're doing this middle block, and yes, because the back stance usually has your body facing one way. You're looking forward this way, but your body is facing east. So say I'm looking north, my body is facing east. But when you do this middle block, you are still facing north. But this middle block comes here, even though your body is sort of facing east. At this point, your body is a little twisted, somewhere in between those two directions. Now to do the rest of this, back stance like that, front snap kick, step back to where you were, and do the same thing. Now, see if I can do this so you can actually see what it looks like when I go back to the beginning. Where was I? Yeah. Is this? Kick. This. So when I go back to the beginning, we do this thing again, right? Long stance, open hand high block, knife hand strike. But we're going to do front snap kick, step down long stance, and a back fist. And that's another new technique. The back fist is another new technique. Now from here, slide the back leg forward to a walking stance, middle block. That should be familiar. I'm trying to make sure I didn't make it get this wrong, Nate. Because I'm trying to remember at the same time as I do it, as I'm giving instructions. Okay, from here, front snap kick. So that part's familiar, right? Now turn this way, middle block, punch. Right. Trying to remember which direction I'm going. And then step forward, long stance, middle block, punch, double punch. Step forward, middle block, and double punch with the key up. And that's the end of your pattern. Alrighty. I gotta take a little break because I'm thirsty. All the extra talking. 35 minutes, not too bad. So let's do Isansa today. So how many techniques did we add to that last pattern? And so for taeguk, jang, we had a total of 10 Taekwondo techniques that you needed to know. Now for this one, taeguk, jang, technique number 4, we added the back stance with the double knife hand strike. So it's a double knife hand strike technique. That's one. And then we added the spear finger. That's another one. And then we added the high block with the knife hand strike. That's the third one we added. Let me see. The rest of it is just a sequence that you have to kind of get used to. It's kick, punch, then side kick, step down into back stance with the double knife hand strike. It's relatively new, but you're learning it now. Same as before, sort of the same as before. And then back stance, no block. I wouldn't say those are new techniques, they're just the different techniques are put together in a slightly different way. Yeah, so I think there's 3 different techniques added to this pattern. Oh, I forgot about there was a back fist, right? Was it back fist? Whoa, hold on. Was there a back fist in this one? I'm thinking. I'm going through the pattern in my brain. Psychic. Yeah, there is a back fist, and there is a back fist. Yeah. And then the rest of it is pretty straightforward techniques, So there's 4 additional techniques in taeguk sajang. So at this point, you need to know 14 different Taekwondo techniques. And by techniques, I mean the simple techniques like a block or like a low block, a middle block, a simple punch, or a double punch. Well, I'm not gonna say double punch is a separate technique. It's just 2 punches done together pretty quickly. So there's 14 basic techniques you'll need to learn for this. So at this point, so we've got the double knife hand strikes. We've got that spear finger thing. So spear finger, and we've got this technique. We've got a back fist. Only 1 back fist in this pattern. 1 back fist. I think that was it. Yep, 4 new techniques in this pattern. All right, next is going to be a little rough. I'm not going to quite go into as much depth with the next couple of patterns because I'm refreshing my brain. I'm refreshing my brain with the patterns. So the next 2 patterns, I'm not going to be giving as much explanation about them. I'm just going to run through them. And one big. Do you currently study Taekwondo? Are you currently training? Okay, taeguk o jang. So from Chiet to Jinbi, taeguk o jang. Right. Why am I forgetting already, Nate? Why am I forgetting already? This is bad. I remember. Sometimes it's fun doing patterns with your eyes closed. I feel like it's this. Back fist, block. Back fist, block. And back fist. Yeah. Single knife hand block, elbow strike. Right. Kick. And then high block, and a side kick, and an elbow strike, which you can't really see. And then high block, side kick, elbow strike. And then here. And Jinbi. Alright. Okay, I think I remember that one. I'm actually going to do the pattern this way so you can actually see what it looks like when I come back towards the end of the pattern. Let's see. Yes, you guys can watch my back. Nate? block. And again, I still can't do this technique in here because of the couch. High block, side kick, then low block, middle block, front step kick, down, and that. Okay, so a couple of tricky techniques here. There's a technique in this pattern where you do, what was it? You do a high block, long stance high block like this, not too tricky. This part's not too tricky. And then the next part you have to do a side kick with your back leg, right? Side kick, step down, and you grab the person's head as you step down and you do an elbow strike. That's the technique. Hard to make it look really nice and smooth. It does take a little bit of practice. And there you go. That's the technique. From the other side, same thing as well. On this side, same thing. And I'm keeping my kicks low for now because I don't have as much flexibility as I used to. And there's that. So I'm going to try that one again. So you want to do this, and you want to do a side kick, grab the head, and elbow strike. And the techniques that towards the end, the last technique towards the end, try to remember, right? And then we do a kick, front snap kick. So you're going to do a front snap kick. Don't put your leg down yet. You don't want to put your leg down yet. What you're going to do is do a front snap kick and kind of launch a little bit forward. And what you're going to end up doing is stepping, let's say it's your opponent, you're stepping on the person's foot, roll onto the blade of your foot a bit, and then you do a twist stance, back fist to the face. That's the last part of this technique. And I think this pattern is a little brutal because if you can't get the last part of this pattern looking nice, it ends up looking really, really sloppy. Other than that, I think the majority of the schematics, the combination of techniques in this pattern aren't very difficult. There are just some points in it where it's obvious if you're not doing it well enough. So, and it's really sad. You do that last little technique, if you don't do it quite right, someone like me might give you a little bit less of a score. And yes, I used to grade color belt patterns. I used to grade color belt tests and black belt tests as well. Anybody below me, below my rank. Just so people know. I guess for the most part it was peer review or peer grading for Taekwondo tests at the school I was at, both schools I was at actually. All right, that was Taekwondo Jang. I think I'm gonna run through that one again quickly, just to keep my brain fresh with it. Alright, good. Now I remember that one. Hopefully I don't forget it too easily. The thing with Taekwondo patterns is you do have to do them on a pretty regular basis to keep refreshing your memory. The other thing I've done to help me remember Taekwondo patterns, the pumse, is just to meditate on them. If you can do a visual meditation with your patterns, that helps a lot. Sometimes until you get used to visualizing them in your head, like basically I visualize a little puppet version of me in my brain doing the patterns, and I'm watching it. But sometimes you might actually just have to do certain things while you're trying to meditate on the pattern. I have done that in the past. I did that, I think actually for my first color belt testing, I actually did meditate before my first color belt testing, and I meditated on the pattern before the test. As I progressed, it was, I think with Taekwondo patterns, because they build up on each one before it, you get used to the idea of the patterns, and you don't quite need to spend quite as much time as like the first ones, but then they add new techniques. So that's the part you have to meditate on, and you have to get used to visualizing in your head are the new techniques, the new combinations of movements and sequences. So you gotta meditate on these things, punch, kick, or like the other one at the beginning. And another thing I like about Taekwondo training that we often like to do in the schools with students is we have them do their patterns with their eyes closed. Always good practice, quite fun. Some people are actually pretty good. It helps you get a good sense of your, it gives you a good sense of direction, and it also shows how well you can control your movements. So if I go here, I should be facing that way. If I go here, I should be facing that way. Yeah, okay. The tricky one is if I'm here and I want to go 270, I want to go that way, but I'm doing 270. Oh, there. There we go. Gotten better over the years, actually, Nate. So practicing moving with your eyes closed in Taekwondo is another thing we like to make students do with their patterns. It's also kind of fun. The other thing we like to make students do with their patterns is we like to make them do their pattern in 10 seconds, just for fun, to see if they remember it. More often than not, when you run through a pattern in 10 seconds, you might get a little sloppy with your technique. You'd have to be really, really good with your techniques before you can do a pattern in 10 seconds and not look sloppy. But the biggest challenge for some of the students is just remembering the pattern, the sequence of movements in 10 seconds. Operative echelon, which I did World Taekwondo. You did ITF TKD when you were younger. But I did know a few people who did ITF Taekwondo before. Yeah, unfortunately that is not what I learned. I learned World Taekwondo style, so I'm obviously only going to be teaching what I do know, and I know don't know ITF. Unfortunately, I know WT, World Taekwondo, and I think the ITF isn't really an official Taekwondo thing anymore, technically in Korea. From what I heard, they merged with WT style, so we started getting some ITF students at the dojang I was at before I left. I had to move. I moved overseas, so I didn't leave the school because of any other reason. I actually love the school, and I like the school. I like the master that runs it. But unfortunately, I had to move overseas. Yeah, it is rare. It's a rare. So no, I don't know any ITF. I don't know any ITF patterns for sure. I think some of the techniques are pretty much the same. It's not terribly different, I don't think. I have seen some of the ITF patterns. They look a little bit more complicated than the World Taekwondo ones. That being said, there are older World Taekwondo patterns. They were called, they weren't called taeguk, they were called palge for the color belts. The color belts used to do palge instead of taeguk, and they were older and maybe a little bit more complicated than the taeguks. And I've been trying to learn those off and on, but it's really hard to keep up with all the different patterns and continue with the black belt patterns. All methods are pretty close, yeah. I mean, that being said, it's like even karate is fairly close too, right? And I know a girl too. We trained for many years together in Taekwondo until we were black belts, and then she eventually moved. I think she moved to New Zealand. Can't remember where, somewhere down under. And she said there was no Taekwondo school, so she ended up going to a karate school. Memorizing some of those katas are crazy. Yeah. I think honestly though, I still think Tai Chi has more complicated patterns. Either it's more complicated or my brain just does not move in slow-mo like that. My brain cannot process slow motion like that. I end up falling over. But I do remember Nate and I both went to a Tai Chi school for a little bit just to try out their classes. It was a pretty good school. I think it would have been better if the guy that ran the school was there, but he was in China, and the opening technique was like this. And Nate jokingly called it a zombie technique. You're right. I took Qigong, Tai Chi. Yeah, they're pretty complicated. There is actually a Tai Chi instructor on Twitch too. Actually, if you're interested, I Ping Tai Chi. Actually, I'm gonna give her a shout out. I don't think she's on right now. I think she streams because she's in. I'm trying to remember. She's in the States. She's in the Eastern Standard Time Zone in the States. I think she started just streaming later at night than I do. I'm in the Netherlands. I'm in Europe. So for me, this is evening. We're going to give a shout out to I Ping Tai Chi. People can go check her stream out. That's an opening. Yes, it is. That was one of the funniest things. It looks like a zombie technique. I don't remember much because at the time I was still doing a lot of Taekwondo training, which honestly, Taekwondo is still kind of my heart. I love Taekwondo. I love TKD. It's my heart. But I think Tai Chi is also really good as a martial art. It's also good for later on in life, I guess, if you have injuries and sometimes the slow movement is probably better for you to do. And also yoga. Yoga is probably also really good to do. Qigong is older than the style you just said. It has some complex. Qigong is older than. Yeah, I don't know anything about I Ping exactly. It has some complex, but TKD by far has best kicks and leg strength movements in martial arts. I would agree with that about Taekwondo. It's one of the reasons why I started Taekwondo. Short. So I've moved on to other styles. Shinwa Taido was. What is Shinwa Taido? And I believe I Ping Tai Chi also, the instructor for that channel, she also teaches Qigong as well. And she's actually really enthusiastic about Qigong. She said when she started Qigong, she kind of fell in love with it. So she also teaches Qigong. And so if you want to check it out, it's like Aikido but with half circle movements. Is Shinwa Taido, is that Chinese martial arts, I'm guessing, or is that that sounds like, or is that Japanese? Nate, do you know Shinwa Taido?
No.
It's kind of like Aikido with half circle movements. Is it actually a self-defense martial art though? Because Aikido is purely self-defense. Lots of front squats. Yeah, it's lots of squats. Squats is definitely a thing with martial arts. Definitely need them. All right. I am going to continue and do my next pattern though. I have 3 more patterns to get through in this stream, just as a review. Yes, very defensive. Interesting. Nate, my partner here, actually also did a little bit of Aikido. He taught me a little bit. Unfortunately, right now he has a problem with his shoulder, so he can't actually show me any Aikido, which I would actually like to do at some point. Nate, I'm gonna harangue you now. I'm trying to extract a promise out of you on stream that you're gonna come and do Aikido. On stream. Someday. He says someday he'll do some Aikido on stream. We'll see. We also have some in real life issues going on. As you can see, my place is pretty small. And it's hard for me to do a full pattern with proper techniques, but I can try to remember them. Okay, no problem for apologizing. I'd still like to get through this. We can still keep chatting. I will always keep checking on chat. So I'm gonna go through the next pattern and also come back to the chat. No apologies for interrupting. You're welcome to chat. Thank you. Sure. For being so soft. What Shinwa Taido is a violent art for being so soft? Oh dears. So, that's funny actually. I actually really like Aikido. Yeah. When I was watching Nate's Aikido test, I was actually pretty impressed by fighting techniques and the fluidity of Aikido. Granted, Aikido, because it's a self-defense martial art, uses more circular motions than Taekwondo. Taekwondo being an offensive martial art for the most part, uses more straight motions. The whole concept of the the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I really like that concept. So which pattern was that? I just did Il I Samsa. Oh, I did O, right? Okay. Okay, so Yuk Jang. Taeguk Yuk Jang, Taeguk number 6. Taeguk number 6. It's also actually one of my favorite patterns in Taekwondo. I think at this point, some of the Taekwondo patterns start to look a little more like some of the Tai Chi stuff. But not exactly. So let's go to Chiet and Junbi. And it does sound like you have a lot of martial arts training. What is it? Echelon. I'm going to call you Echelon. And welcome to the channel. Okay, so Taeguk. Try to remember here. Taeguk Yukjang. What is it? Oh, yeah. Try to remember how this one started. I think we're back to doing this, and this. Yeah. Yukjang. And then there's supposed to be another kick followed by a punch, and then I have to go the other way to do this, followed by a punch, and then kick followed by another punch. Let me do this one. Right. Let me do that. Followed by a high roundhouse kick and go all the way around to a low block, long stance low block. And then kick, back stance, block. Low stance, low block, kick, back stance, block. And go from here. This is the fun part of this pattern. Go from here. Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something, Nate. No, I didn't. And then palm block, punch, and step back. Palm block, punch. And that's the rest of that pattern. And then way too far back. All the Taekwondo patterns, you're supposed to end up at the same spot as you started on, and I ended up a little too far back, but obviously I had to shift a little bit. So let me just catch up on chat. Thank you. Okay, cool. So how many years of martial arts training do you have? I'm not sure if you're still there. Alright, try that one again. Try that one again one more time, and I'm going to try the last two patterns to see if I remember them. Jumbi. Sorry. This one. What am I doing? Yukjang. And then there's a front snap kick punch that I can't do with all the stuff in my way. I'm gonna go this way. Sorry, I'm gonna go this way. Punch. Foot snap kick punch. And then you can do this. Okay. Step forward. Wait. So cramped for space, but I need to refresh my memory. So step back. So from here, what we're going, wait, it's hard for people to see, I guess. From here, I'm in this back stance with this middle block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step with my right leg, step back into a back stance this way, and do a double knife hand block. Now step back again into a back stance and do a double knife hand block. Now I'm going to step backwards into a long stance and do a palm lock followed by a punch. And again, step backwards and do a palm block followed by a punch. And that's the end of that pattern. And step back. Okay, that's the pattern. That's Taeguk Yukjang. 2 more patterns. Shouldn't take me very long to do, actually. Hi, Calgary. How's it going? Eli is a cutie. Okay. Do I have a donate button? No, I do not have a donate button, but thank you for the offer. You're welcome to also subscribe if you want, or bits if you have bits. Also, the best thing probably to do if you really like my streams is to give somebody a gift sub. You can give a gift sub anonymously to a random person if you want, or you can pick somebody. I think that's the best way to support a stream and the community. Hi Calgary, how's it going? Yes. Oh, where'd you get that email from? Oh wait, there is one for that. That's actually funny. Belts? What belts? I'm a black belt. But if you're starting in Taekwondo, the color belts for the Taekwondo system that I was taught people start off as white. Wait, what's going on with my computer? People start off with white, then there's yellow, then there's orange, green, excuse me, purple, blue, right, Nate? Brown, red. Oh, I can't type right.
I don't remember because I skipped
Red
all of them.
stripe. Red stripe. What? Yeah, Nate kind of. I'm gonna call this one black stripe. It's also known as like a poom belt for some people. And then black belt. And black belt, there is our black belt levels 1 to 9. Is it close to Kung Fu? I would probably say no. I'd say Taekwondo is probably closer to karate than Kung Fu. But I mean, a lot of martial arts premises are fundamentally the same. I think Taekwondo, the reason I like Taekwondo and why I picked Taekwondo as a martial art is because I like how very straightforward and linear it is. Everything is movement on a straight line. I think the circular movements are best for self-defense martial arts. I think for offensive martial arts, you really want to move as quickly as you can from point A to point B. But it also depends. There's also Hapkido. Hapkido is also a Korean martial art. It's a self-defense martial art that also utilizes a little bit of the kicks and strikes from Taekwondo, but it also is a self-defense martial art. So in Hapkido, you'll see a blend of circular movements followed by very straightforward punching and kicking techniques. So, and how are you? How are you, Calgary? How are you tonight? And welcome to the stream, Eli. Yes, like I said, I would definitely prefer people giving gift subs to each other or to the community. I think that's a great way to support communities on Twitch. I also do actually watch other Twitch streamers, and I generally find I prefer giving gift subs to not just subbing, but just giving gift subs to other people in the stream, in the community, because it actually supports the community better and encourages possibly new people to stick around. So 2 more patterns. It shouldn't really take me very long to do as long as I remember them. So I'm on. Actually, I'm gonna get some water first. It's alright. Nothing's really wrong. Oh, need that water. Okay, so I'm on the 7th pattern, taeguk jang, and I'm gonna try and remember 7 and 8, and these are the last 2 color belt patterns. I also have 5 black belt patterns that I need to. I have 3 black belt patterns that I need to refresh my memory on, and 2 black belt patterns that I need to actually learn. So taeguk jang. This is taeguk number 7. Right. So 1 kick. And this is a new technique. This is a new stance for everyone. I guess some people might recognize this as a tiger stance. It's a cat stance, tiger stance. Kick. And there's no room to do this one properly, but this technique here, we're doing a double block, and then you're gonna grab your opponent's shoulder and do a knee strike, the knee to their stomach. Right. It's hard to do with limited space. Oh wait, god damn it. It's the space is throwing me off. Why? Space throwing me off. I got my arms the wrong way. Right. Horse stance actually. And Jimmy. Alright, that needs to be fixed. That needs to be fixed. I gotta do that one more time. Hey. Ah, I see Streamlabs is working. Yes, Streamlabs is working. Did I not put the Oh, I think I put the wrong command on the stream title. Okay. The command is just there's a Taekwondo Discord, which keep forgetting about. Nate, do you know the Discord command for Taekwondo? You know the command for the Taekwondo Discord?
When I'm not distracted.
No, it's fine. I'm just asking if you know. You don't need to know. If people are interested, I do have a Discord for Taekwondo. It's not terribly busy right now, but I do have the Taekwondo videos, Pumse videos on there. And there's links to my videos on YouTube for Taekwondo. Excuse me. Getting congestion. Jang. Jang is also one of my favorite Taekwondo patterns. It actually is a favorite of a lot of Taekwondo students. I think it's because it just looks really, really cool. But it's also another one of those patterns that I would say try to do it really well and it looks better. Should be horse stance here, and that should be like that, and another horse stance. So we're going to do an elbow strike, horse stance. Then single knife hand block while we're still in a horse stance, single knife hand block, and then step forward in a horse stance, but we're punching to the side. So it's a side punch at the end here. And jumping. I have way more problems remembering Sa and Ojang than I do Yuk and Childang. You can tell which ones are my favorites because I remember them better. Yeah. I'm getting congestion. I think it's my allergies acting up. Alright. Last color belt pattern, taeguk paljang, and this is the one everyone wants to get past because people want their black belt. I mean, some people, that's their specific goal is to get a black belt, right? So, taeguk paljang is the last color belt pattern you need to learn. And then after you learn paljang, you'll probably learn paljang you learned Haljang at red stripe belt, and you still have a couple more belts before you can test for black belts. At least one more belt in between. Actually, you have one belt before you can test for black belts after you learn Haljang. So, when you're a black stripe belt, that's when you sit down and revise all of your color belt patterns. Taeguk, il, I, samsa, o, yuk, chil, pal. Taeguk, il to taeguk, Haljang. You gotta review all that as a black stripe belt before you test for a black belt. Now, not every school is the same in Taekwondo. There are some schools that probably aren't officially sanctioned Kukiwon schools, and Kukiwon is basically the World Taekwondo headquarters in South Korea. And they basically oversee the requirements. They set the requirements that are needed to get a black belt in World Taekwondo. So if you are interested in getting a black belt in Taekwondo and you want to go that route, and also, by the way, if you also have aspirations of going to World Championships or Olympics, World Taekwondo is the style of Taekwondo that is in the Olympics. And the only way to get to the Olympics as a Taekwondo athlete is to go with a World Taekwondo school. And you need to have to follow all the regulations and rules of Kukiwon in South Korea. Yeah, I love Taekwondo. I do too, actually. It is kind of my heart. It's a little difficult for me to do some of the Taekwondo stuff nowadays because I did hurt my knee some years back. And there's still a slight tear in my knee that sometimes occasionally flares up, but otherwise it's been good. It's been a while since I practiced. Well, you're welcome to practice along with me. So, I'm going to do one more color belt pattern and then take a break. We'll do one more color belt pattern, take a break. Maybe we'll do some stretches, we'll kind of cool down. Okay, and so, sorry, chat. Jimmy, Haljang. Hold on. I'm just gonna give myself some room for Haljang. I remember Haljang. Right? Why? Was it really just a jumping front kick off the bat, Nate?
I don't remember.
Oh my god, I don't think I remember this pattern. Hold on, wait a second. Cross behind. Okay, maybe I sort of remember this pattern. Front snap kick. Front leg front snap kick this time. Oh, sorry, I'm right next to the speaker. Mike, I didn't mean to be so loud. Right. Wait, what did I do? I did double knife hand strike in the cat stance. Front leg front snap kick. Step down, long stance, punch. Right. And go to cat stance here. Double knife hand strike. No, double knife hand strike. Front leg. Oh no, I think I forget this pattern. Why? Something feels wrong. I'll do this over. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly check my book because I forget something about this pattern. Why do I forget it? I know you start off that way. Oh, by the way, if people want to need to refresh their patterns, I recommend this book for color belts. It's a pretty decent book. It has all your color belt patterns. It also has a little bit, explanations of the different blocks strikes like this. So, a little bit of, there's also something called one-step sparring in Taekwondo, which is fun, but you need a partner to do that, so I won't really be doing that on stream. But as you can see, there's your taeguk patterns are in this book as well. It's decent enough. I also have a playlist on YouTube for the Taekwondo videos. They were, I believe, done by the old Taekwondo videos. Oh, it is step forward, Nate. Yeah, it was a Kia. What? Kia. What? Block, middle punch, right? And then, what? Is that an extra one? Block. And another one. Step forward, yep. And then step forward. There's actually 3 punches. There's a double punch and then another punch. Okay, that part I remembered. The complicated part I remember because I like that part of this pattern. Oh, I was supposed to go back. Wait, what? I hate when it's been years since I've done these patterns. Honestly, it's been like 5 years. Somewhere between 3 and 5 years. I think since I moved, I've done the patterns sort of like loosely off and on, just to try to remember. That's where I messed up then. I totally skipped something in the middle, Nate. That's what happened. Okay. Normally it doesn't take me very long to go through a pattern as long as I remember it. So, from Jin B. Did I skip through something? I feel like that's right. Can't read this without my glasses, my reading glasses. It has actually been a while since I've officially done Taekwondo. When I moved, I was told to open my own school. But I'm kind of glad I didn't open my own school yet because of Corona. That would have definitely meant shutting down the school and taking a loss, a financial loss, I believe. Yeah, did that one. Oh no, that is right. Front heel kick, power. Can I just start this? Yeah, done. Front kick. Oh, I'm forgetting to slide backwards. Did I not do that? I think I missed something. That's what I missed. Here's what I missed. Let me see. So after we do, let's just do this from the beginning. It's not very hard to do from the beginning. Alright, and then do this technique, and this one, and then this one again, on the mirror. Alright, and then step down. Alright, I got this part right. Yes, that's what happened. Yeah, and just go straight back, and you just go back this way. You go back this way. And then front kick, and then jumping front kick down. Right. And then from there, How do I end this? Do you remember how I end it, Nate?
No.
Nate remembers this even worse than I do. Yep, that's right. Front kick, jumping front kick. Well, it's actually supposed to be one block and then a punch. Ah, yes. No, I remember. Stand up. Sorry. Trying to remember. I pick up from somewhere in the middle of the pattern. Right. And then it said to do this one. Right. And then that's what it was. And B. How did I forget that one? I actually like that part of the pattern. That's the end of the pattern. There's a lot of complicated movements in this pattern. The one that was hard to show because it was a lot of the ones going this north, east, south, west, right? Going east, west directions. A lot of the ones those are a little harder to show. So starting from a certain point in the pattern, I want to show you guys something, but I'm going to pretend I'm facing this direction. Start facing this direction. Right, jumping kick. Oh. Yeah, from there. Hold on. Right. So from here. Jumping kick. Alright. Trying to remember which direction I gotta go. Why is this hard? That's north. Right. So from here. No. Just why don't I remember? Let's pretend that is north. North, east, south, west. And go from this way. Jumping. Oh yeah, there's another punch, that's why. And then step forward, punch. And then from here, this part of the pattern, you have to step. Just step into a long stance like that. And you're looking over your shoulder and just do. So this is a low block and this one's a mid-high block, right? Right, and then you're gonna turn and do this uppercut. And now to do the next part, don't cross in front. You're gonna step behind like this and just do this into a long stance. You're gonna be in a long stance. Your long stance is facing that way, you're looking that way. And you do a mid-high block and this one does a low block. Right. And then turning around this way, and then you do your uppercut. That's that part of the pattern. I need a wider space in order to be able to show that for everyone. Yeah, and the other part of the pattern, after the second kick, right, the other part of the pattern after the second kick, you go into your double knife hand block, back stance, double knife hand block. You're going to do a front leg, front snap kick. Step down, long stance, punch. Slide back into your cat stance, into a cat stance. Actually, we started with, we started with we did start with a cat stance, sorry. So this technique, cat stance, is kind of like this. It looks like this. So you start like this, double knife hand block, cat stance. And cat stance is kind of like almost like a back stance too. You got more of your weight towards the back. Front snap kick, down, come back in your cat stance, and do a block. Switch to the other side, cat stance, double block. Same thing. Front snap kick, step down, punch, come back, do that. So, and then there's the kicks. The kicks, which are a little, actually front snap kicks is one of the kicks that's harder for me to do because I did have a knee injury. There's a front snap kick. Actually, when you end up going back from your cat stand, from your, so, here. No, wait, what did I do? Where was I? Yeah. So it's like this, I'm gonna go this way. I gotta go over here, sorry. Spatial orientation here. So when you're here, and you're going back, this is the end of the pattern, you're going back, you're gonna go in the back stance like this. You are gonna do a front snap kick, don't put your foot down. From there, you do a jumping front snap kick, is what you're doing. And then when you do jumping front snap kick, you come down, do that. Yeah. Alright, so we did that. I'm going to switch around here. So from there, now we're going to back stance. Knife hand block. The last little bit is a knife. Is it back stance? Where am I? Yeah. So the end of this pattern is you end up here, the back stance, knife hand block. Now, just shift to your long stance, do an elbow strike, followed by back fist punch. So switch to your back stance, right? And then switch to your long stance while you do an elbow strike. Back fist punch. That is the end of that is the end of taeguk pal jang. And back to Jun B. Alright, I think I'm done. I think with all the patterns, if you don't practice them regularly, you kind of lose them in reverse order because by default you practice the higher ones fewer times overall. Yes, that is true. Alright, so we did, it's about 1.5 hours now, so I couldn't remember taeguk pal jang really well. But that's good. I'm going to keep trying to do these patterns and reviewing them on a regular basis and keep refreshing them. And as I remember them, I will be able to explain parts of the patterns a little better to people. Complicated parts, especially the complicated ones, the parts that people have difficulty with. And if people are practicing Taekwondo and they've been practicing patterns and they're having maybe a little trouble trying to like get something quite right with their patterns, feel free to ask. I can help you with that. Granted, it's harder to help somebody with patterns when I'm not there in person, but I can still try. So it's been 1.5 hours actually. I thought maybe I'd have time to do like a cool down, but I guess not. Just a bit of a cool down, but I guess not. So I'm not sure who else is around here, and so I'm thinking next time I will practice. I will try to get through more of the patterns and practice, and you are right about that, which is why I'm thinking next time I should just start with Ojang or Satay. Oh, the fun part of Taekwondo color belt patterns though is start doing your patterns backwards in reverse order actually. Start with your latest ones and work backwards. There's also fun things we can do with pattern training in person with students that I've always found fun, but I'm not sure how to do that on stream. There's a lot of fun things you can do in Taekwondo training that were super fun, but you gotta do it in person. The other fun thing I really liked about Taekwondo training was the free sparring, which was the instructor would grab 2 pads. This is always fun. I always love doing this with kids. I love doing them. Everyone loves the free sparring. Excuse the pads, they're old. Instructor grabs 2 pads, usually grabs 2 pads, right? Trains with one person, and they just call out the technique, just randomly call out the techniques, and the other person, the student, has to practice the techniques. So I might just be like roundhouse, 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 back kick, side kick, slide back counter, 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 punch, punch, axe kick, roundhouse, roundhouse, slide back counter, come forward, do side kick, and then back kick. Those things are fun. I wish I really miss doing Taekwondo training in person. I miss personally training. I miss personally training, as well as training with other students. I really did like teaching Taekwondo with other people. But definitely need your own school for that. And you need space, and you need to not be Corona times. So anyways, let's see what's going on now. Oh, and thanks for the follows. Oh, Nate, you can always point out when somebody follows.
It doesn't show me that.
Oh, you don't see the activity feed in mod view?
Yes, but it doesn't show me follows. It shows me.
What?
I don't know. I'll show you later.
Oh, okay. Well, you can change your mod view. I don't know if you knew that. Oh, actually, before I figure out what we're gonna do, we can just we'll just either wait or host. Let's just figure this out. I think maybe we'll just host somebody tonight. It's been. Huh?
I figured it out. Never mind.
You figured it out. It's been pretty quiet on Twitch lately, I think. I mean, just generally overall. I mean, I do follow other people on Twitch. I follow other streamers, and it seems pretty quiet on Twitch lately. I don't know what it is. Let's see. I think I'll probably just try to host somebody I already know. Oh, she's not streaming today. She has a... Okay, let's just maybe... Okay, well, actually the other category I sometimes stream in. I used to often stream in that category. I'm just taking a break for now. Someone is doing Duolingo Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese. I think I'm just gonna host them. I'm gonna host them, and if people feel like checking out that person, they can go and check them out. And for now, I'm gonna just say bye-bye for now. I've been on this person's stream before. They're a pretty cool person. Waves to all the people. Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for coming out for Taekwondo Tuesday. I will be back next week with more Taekwondo Tuesday. On my schedule, there's no stream scheduled for tomorrow. I take Wednesdays and Saturdays off. Streaming 7 days a week can be quite hectic, and right now there's so much other things going on in real life stuff that it's kind of like 5 days a week is actually too hectic. Prior to that, it was actually pretty okay for me. But I will be back. On the schedule is Thursday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Central European Time, GMT +1. I will be streaming something. It'll be a surprise. It'll be announced because I'm just gonna stream whatever I feel like at that time. So, and hopefully it'll be a fun surprise for everyone. So bye-bye for now, and scene on. And enjoy the host.